Okay, let's wrap this up a little bit. But I want to kind of give you some pros and cons to kind of think about when you're looking for a condo in Thailand, and some of the things that I kind of run into as well. That stuff that you don't know until you really run into it, because a lot of things that you just assume is going to be you're going to get with a condo, or you assume that you can do with a condo or do with an apartment like you would rent back in the States. So a lot of times, you want to make sure, you want to be clear to make sure you can do everything you want to do inside your place. Now, a couple things here is really with rent. Now, rent, you're going to get a better price for a condo if you're really here in Thailand. That way you can look at the condo in person, and you're in person to negotiate. And when you're in person, you can rent it right now. When they deal with you on the phone, or they deal with you, booking something online, or booking something when I'm still in the States, like I did this time, is they're not going to give you as good of a deal. And it really depends upon when you're coming in. If you're coming in high season again is from November to February. Then after, that's really high season. But in my experience being here now, living here, really March and April, in my opinion, is still a little bit high season. It's not as high, it's a little bit more calmer. But in April, Thailand has Saigrand. That's their actually new year. It's a big celebration in April. That keeps April kind of busy. So what I'm experiencing in April, even a lot of owners don't want to negotiate that well in April just because of Saigrand, because a lot of people are still coming in for kind of a Thailand New Year. And it's a great big water festival, so it's pretty awesome. It's coming up in the next couple of days here, so we'll have a lot of fun with that. But it's really going to go into like May. When you really hit May is going into low season. Then around June, July really hits rainy season. So you're going to get better deals as you kind of drift off into May, June, and July in rainy season to really negotiate either a 6-month or a year contract. Now, with that being said, is, like I said, lots of times if you're here, you're going to get a better deal. Also, if you're here, you're seeing everything eye to eye. You're seeing everything in person. So lots of times I got lucky with this place, because with La Casita pretty much is super popular right now in Hua Hin. This is probably almost the best place to live in Hua Hin. And maybe there's maybe one or two other places to go, but as far as I found right now, La Casita is pretty much the best place to go, the best place to live, just because of location. You're right in the middle of Hua Hin. You're only about a 5-minute walk from the beach. All you have to do is cross the road, and the beach is right there. And the La Casita sits like right in between Market Village. That's the mall on the left-hand side, and it sits. Then on the right-hand side, you have Blueport, and that's a mall. So I can pretty much walk to both malls. So it sits in a perfect location. Plus, it's quiet, and that's what you're going to want to look for, like in a condo or an apartment, is once you go deeper into Hua Hin, a lot of the condos that sits on the outskirts of Hua Hin, they sit around, or they're really close to either bars or nightclubs or places that have a band. Like lots of times the nightlife here it's very busy, even in Hua Hin. The nightlife, when people go out at nighttime, they like to go out at nighttime. They got bands that play every single day, and if your condo sits by where that band plays, it becomes very noisy. So like I've looked at like my Story condo, Soy 88 condo, that's kind of popular, but I didn't really like the location because it sits on the outskirts. It didn't look like they kind of did a good upkeep of the condo. I like the rooms. They had actually better rooms than La Casita, but because the owners actually really decorated the rooms very, very well. But I just didn't like the location. The location was on the outskirts, so 100% you're going to need a motorbike to get around. You can't walk nowhere. Then it's also loud there at nighttime. So meaning like when you try to sleep, you got a band playing until 2 a.m. So even for my agent will tell me a lot of people break their leases in those places. But only thing though, again, the only way you're going to know is if you're here in person and you can go look at it, you know the area. Then I would advise you even go at nighttime and go in the area at nighttime, so you know what the area is like at nighttime. So you know if it's going to be loud at nighttime. They got bands playing at nighttime, just because you're going to hear that inside your condo. I think the last thing is I start seeing, like, looking at places in person, is how well, I got a couple more things here, is how well they do the upkeep. I kind of brought that up, but since it's a condo, La Casita, they do a wonderful job, like a superb job at upkeeping the condo, upkeeping the pool, upkeeping all the trees, the garden, watering everything, clean. Everything is clean. The security does a decent job. So I look at that as well when I'm looking at condos. Sometimes I start seeing that when you go view the condo, you can tell right away they don't upkeep it very well, or they don't have a lot of staff. So of course the upkeep is going to be neglected. And so, a lot of the condos here in Waihin, they don't upkeep the condos very well. But right now, La Casita, since it's new or newer, is the upkeep is very, very good. And I think the last thing I kind of want to share is, once you come in the condo, this is something we assume that we can do. Like when we were coming from the States, maybe you rent apartments, or you rent houses, or you rent condos before. You pretty much can do anything you want. If you destroy anything, well, they're just going to keep your security deposit to fix everything. But one of the things you're going to want to do is, especially when you come in with your own stuff, you're going to want to make sure that the owner will take their stuff. Like if I don't want the bed, the owner will take it and I'll buy a new bed. If I don't want the couch, the owner will take it and I can buy my own couch. Or anything you don't want in your room or in your condo, the owner will take. You're gonna want to make sure that the owner will take their stuff. You don't want to you can't throw it away. You can, but you're gonna replace it. When you move out, 100%. So you're gonna want to make sure that you just don't assume, like, well, I don't want this here, take it. And after you sign the lease, I mean, there's nothing you can do. If the owner comes back and says, no, I want all my stuff there, I don't want you to touch it, it's going to stay in the condo, that's it. So you want to make sure that they can remove the stuff that you don't want. Also, like I did bring up with the walls, because I want to hang some pictures. I don't want to hang like heavy stuff on the walls, but hang some pictures to give a little bit more decoration to the place. And that's kind of been a little bit of a debate going on between myself and the agent, and even Ang, so that if we can hang anything on the walls. So I gotta clear it by the agent first, because I just want to hang some pictures on the wall, give it a little bit more color in the room, a little bit more character in the room. And so you want to find that stuff out as well before you would sign a lease and move in. Like, everything you want to do, you just want to put it out there and be clear you can do everything. And because you just can't assume how it is in your country, it's going to be the same way in Thailand. So you just want to, just ask those simple questions and don't assume anything. And I'm sure it will be okay, because I'm very nice with stuff anyway. And you could easily look for light pictures that aren't really heavy, that you can easily hang on the wall without destroying the drywall, and it's easy to cover up with a drywall putty and put some white paint over. You can fix the wall, very simple. But other than that, I think that's it. And like I said in the beginning, it's just kind of what you want. The location, to me, the location, and the upkeep of the condo, how quiet the condo is going to be. That's why I kind of chose to kind of stay at La Casita. Those were the kind of the main things. The room wasn't so much that difficult, because at the end of the day, I can buy my own stuff. And I think that's kind of what I want to leave you with, is like, when you live in another country, or you want to relocate or retire in Thailand, eventually you have to upgrade your condo. What I mean by upgrade, you have to decorate it how you want to decorate it. You got to buy things what makes it feel home to you, makes it feel a little bit more homey. Even right now, me buying the simple things, the bigger things, and stick them in the condo, it makes it feel way more like a home than it was the first 6 months. You know what I mean? The first 6 months here, without anything in here, They just had, of course, they had the bed. They had a couch actually sitting in this spot. They had a little couch in the living room that was kind of cheap, you know, a cheap table. Then they had a bunch of random dishes and stuff like that. But that was pretty much it. They didn't even have a table and chairs out on the balcony. So, you know, and I lived like that for like 5 or 6 months until I can't take it anymore, because it just kind of felt like, it kind of just made me start feeling like it's a cheap hotel room. You know, like you're almost like in a hotel room. It's cheap. They don't put nothing in there. And I started feeling that a little bit, that you didn't want to be in the room. It didn't like lift your spirits. You know, you're around all cheap stuff, you know, cheap furniture and stuff like that. It kind of like brings you down a little bit, or it kind of makes you feel poor, or makes you feel like you have no money. And that's kind of the worst thing too. And I think the third thing is it doesn't bring that kind of like that family atmosphere, or that home atmosphere that you really want. And everybody goes through this in Thailand. Everyone I've talked to, you know, after they're here for a few months, no matter what it is, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, of course, those are the times that you're running around, you're new to Thailand, you're running around sightseeing, doing a whole bunch of stuff, going out at nighttime. But sooner or later, you're going to want to kind of settle down. And the more you make your condo, your place, feel like a home, the more you're going to settle in, the more you're going to be happy. And that's kind of what I feel anyway. You know, more you kind of building your home is kind of like your sanctuary. So, you know, this is where you feel at peace and relaxed. So you kind of have to build it to your character, what you like. And it's going to kind of make your stay in Thailand, or retirement in Thailand, way, way, way more better, rather than just leaving it kind of how the owner decorated it. Then that's what you complain about all the time. Is, you know, when I catch myself complaining, when I catch myself kind of complaining about maybe a certain topic over and over and over, I tend to just go out and buy. That way I stop complaining about it. Because like I said, with the balcony, there was nothing on the balcony. And, you know, when I first came in here, I kept on saying, why wouldn't they put a table and chairs out on the balcony? So I'd go out and sit on the balcony. So I caught myself kind of, you know, complaining about it. Then one day I woke up and said, you know what, I got to do something about it. I went out and bought a table and chairs for the balcony. Once I bought it, I put it on the balcony. My mind just shuts off. I stopped complaining about it. And, you know, you kind of have to take like personal responsibility yourself too. If the owner don't want to buy anything for the condo, then it's really up to you to do it. I mean, that's just bottom line. So that's kind of what I did. And I kind of made that deal with myself. Well, if I re-sign the lease here for a year, then I'm going to buy everything, kind of redecorate it and make it look a lot better, and make it look a lot more homey and more of a peaceful environment than it was. But other than that, my friends, hang in there. Peace with you. If you have any questions, comment below, and I'll help you out, help you as much as I can. And blessings to you, and I'll see you in the next video.